You know what's fascinating about art heists? Most aren't carried out by criminal masterminds, but by desperate amateurs who think they're smarter than they actually are. The new film, The Mastermind, perfectly captures this reality.
That's such an interesting perspective on this genre. What made this particular story stand out to you?
Well, it's set in the 1970s Massachusetts, where we meet Josh O'Connor as James Blaine Mooney, or JB. This failed architect living under his judge father's constant criticism. Instead of working harder at his profession, he decides stealing 4 Arthur Dove paintings is somehow the answer to his problems.
And the director Kelly Reichardt made an interesting choice there, didn't she? Taking inspiration from this huge 1972 Worcester Art Museum heist involving Gauguins and Picassos, but deliberately scaling it down to tell a more intimate story.
Exactly, and you know what makes it even more compelling? The whole thing takes place against this backdrop of social upheaval. Vietnam protests, hippie movement. But JB seems completely disconnected from all that. He's just this guy trying to prove himself in probably the worst way possible.
The way Josh O'Connor plays him is so nuanced too. You can see all that desperation just beneath the surface, but it never feels overdone.
Right. And what's really striking is how JB has to borrow money from his own mother under false pretenses just to get this plan going. Like, from the very beginning, everything is built on this foundation of deception and desperation.
Speaking of foundations, let's talk about his wife Terry, played by Alana Haim. There's something so telling about how she just accepts her lot in life while still keeping everything together.
You know what's fascinating about that relationship? It's all in what's not said. Years of disappointment and resignation just hanging in the air between them. But then, when John Magaro shows up as Fred, JB's old art school friend, that's when we finally see some genuine human connection.
The contrast really highlights how isolated JB has become, doesn't it? And the period details just make everything feel so authentic rather than nostalgic.
Well, that's what makes the whole thing work so well. The attention to detail in every aspect. The security systems were so much more basic back then, which makes his plan seem almost plausible, until it isn't. And when one of his accomplices gets caught during a separate bank robbery and starts talking, that's when everything really starts to unravel.
So what do you think about how the film handles the aftermath? It's not your typical heist movie resolution.
That's actually my favorite part. The way it shows how these shortcuts and quick fixes just create bigger problems. Once the paintings are hidden, you can see JB struggling with this new reality he's created. He thought this would somehow prove his worth, but instead, it just forces him to go on the run.
The slow burn pacing really lets us feel the weight of those consequences, doesn't it?
Absolutely right. And you know what makes this film so special? It's really using this art heist as a lens to examine something much deeper about human nature. Like, how far will someone go to prove their worth when they feel trapped by circumstances? It's not just about the theft. It's about identity, ambition, and the choices we make when we feel backed into a corner.
And that unexpected ending really drives all those themes home.
You know, in the end, what we're really watching is a character study disguised as a heist film. It's not about the technical brilliance of the crime. It's about how someone who's desperate to prove themselves smart and capable ends up proving exactly the opposite. That's what makes it so compelling and, honestly, kind of heartbreaking. We give The Mastermind a score of 7.5 out of 10.
You've been listening to Movies First.
Available at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or your favourite podcast player. You can also stream on demand at Bytes.com.
This has been another quality podcast production from Bytes.com.